What's up, everybody? Let me share this picture. I've been trying to get this stream out for a while. My work hours have been real crazy, so this is the time I can get it out. Let me share this screen. This is actually a very sad. Run on. Let me go to the play. This is actually a very sad story of a Judas, 30 pieces of silver, and you sell out your own blood. It's really a treacherous story. Go work. Actually, treacherous story with this character right here. Where is this? Here it is. All right, let me share it right here. Let me fix this thing right here. Roscoe, what's up, brother? Good morning. Good morning. How's it going, man? How's Scotland? Terry, good morning. God bless you guys. This is a story of pure treachery right here. I'm sure you guys might have heard of this guy. His name's Johnny Franzese. Sonny Francese's son. A total creep. I've been trying to get this out, but I haven't had time with my work schedule. So right now I can do it. What's up, Steve? What's up, Bambi? How's it going? Brad Hunter, what's up, bro? How's it going? I think you've heard of this guy, right, Steve? You have. You've seen. We did a video on him like a few years ago. This whack job. He's a real creep. To do that to your own blood and family, and then you got to hear the excuses. Oh my God, the excuses that this guy has is just beyond me. This is it's called Sonny Francese's Family Falls Apart. It's actually a sad story.
Sandra, I just thought of something that's very important. Sonny says, what are we going to
this is him. I think this is him like recording. Recording his father. Ugh, oh my God. What's up? 20 Pizza Chow Chow. What's up? Janie, how's it going? Hope everybody's gonna have a good Thanksgiving.
to do about Johnny? I said, buddy, you're his father. Something on the street Sonny could handle. But things with his children, he could not. He didn't know what to do.
Poor guy. And that's his son was his downfall too. He had two real scumbag sons, but Johnny is way more of a scumbag than Michael. Both of them are dirty rat bastards and lowlifes, but Johnny takes the cake, boy.
What did your time away do to the family, do to your family? What did your time away do to your family, to your wife?
They were setting up all these interviews with this guy too. They should have left this old man alone. His family were like setting up all these interviews, and this old guy really has no other choice. He wakes up out of his room over there, and he's got these fucking reporters in his face. It's fucking terrible.
You could have saved yourself 15 years in prison.
What's up,
I'm not that type of a man.
So many other people ratted out.
I hate that excuse right there. I hate that fucking. So many other people sold their souls. So many other people did it. Everybody else did it. Why don't you do it? I hate that fucking excuse. And that logic is fucking disgusting.
Other people roll.
Got them right. One time I met an FBI agent, and he said to me, kind of you could have broke the Mafia up. We got Joe Bellacci, and if you opened up, would have destroyed the Mafia. I said, go and F yourself.
He wanted you to violate Omerta, right? Is that Omerta? You know, okay, the code of silence.
Sure.
Living as an
Well,
opportunity.
what
to
is
support
this,
somebody
fat
in
camp?
in the least restrictive setting possible.
What
When I
is
heard about
this fat camp?
They wanted me to be around. I sleep with myself nice. I never had a problem sleeping. I slept. Every night I sleep good. They wanted me to roll all the time. But I can't do that.
I think it was like 100 years old right here, too. This is like 100-year-old man. These fucking reporters and his scumbag son sends these reporters there to talk to him. Like, oh my God, let the man rest and let him relax in peace the rest days of his life.
Because it's my principle. I suffered all my life. My family suffered. And I go on and I do the same thing to somebody else. I couldn't do it.
When my dad went away in 1970, he went to Leavenworth.
I can't stand him too. Now, obviously, he's not as much as a degenerate as his brother is.
The figure in the house. He really didn't have any.
He's a dirty rat bastard, Michael, but he cloaks his degeneracy in religion and all that shit. He's just as bad, but he just didn't put his dad in jail like his brother did.
By default, my dad became less and less of the figure in the house. He really didn't have any influence. My sister died of a drug overdose.
That's
She was greatly affected by my father going away. My younger sister, she was a mess, quite honestly. And then my brother John, drug addict his whole life.
I heard that he got one of the sisters hooked on drugs. I don't know how true that is. Yeah, Pope Michael. Michael's a phony. If you notice with Pope Michael, I call him Oh Holy Mike. Oh Holy Mike. He's not so holy no more, right? You don't see him talking about, you don't see him going to the churches no more. You don't see none of that. My bro James, what's up? How you doing, James? Go check. If you're not subbed to James' channel, check him out. He's got a channel. But Oh Holy Mike is a con man and a phony. He was bringing valuetainment and all these people up to his father's nursing home and shit. He's a scumbag.
That would have happened if my father was around. I would have paid attention. I was young. I was doing it best I could, but I was like taking care of my brothers and sisters with my mother. I remember one day.
It is what it is. They do the whole blame daddy thing. It is what it is, man. Everybody has their own cross to bear.
I came home. My mother was banging her head against the closet door.
What's up, Roscoe? Oh, she was pretty. Very lovely woman, it looks like, in that picture.
Kitchen. You can't lose a father in the house, especially somebody that was so dominant like that.
That is very true. A father is must needed in a household. Without a dad in the house, you see a lot of these men. Now, single moms do there's a lot of great single mothers out there, don't get me wrong, who raise good men. But the majority of men who are raised without a father usually doesn't turn out good.
My mother and father were violent with each other, horrific.
Yeah,
verbally in one way, but there was physical violence. She attacked him with knives.
Wow.
Were times when he'd pick up a knife.
Imagine telling this. Look at this guy. This is the rat bat. This is Judas. This is Johnny Judas Franzese. Fucking this guy shoots up out of puddles, uses toilet water to shoot up. And I'm not bashing people on drugs, right? Just because you use drugs don't mean you're a bad person. It's a disease. But this guy is a bad person. He fucking Judas goaded his 90-something-year-old father and put him in the can.
Something about our family or inside our home, and she was not equipped to handle it, though she did the best. No one could see. She was a woman whose husband ended up a major organized crime figure. Defending him was something she felt strongly about, but also she felt strong about all the lies. And it was one big lie.
I went away. The money went. It's all done. Well, it ain't easy to be around father.
No, not his father.
Son.
No, this guy. No, that's the Scarpa guy who had HIV.
Don't I always tell you, if there's a war, you got to fight for your country? Look at your godfather, Joey Bracata. Look at him. He lost his leg in the war. He's a hero. And you see our life, the only difference is we stand up for our family and our friends. We risk our life and our freedom for our family, no matter what. I wrote that out. I used to tell my friends that for
Guy's
years.
so full of shit.
Why we were better than just anybody else.
See how he says we. He wasn't a part of no mob family. He just did some shit for his father and put his father away. That's all. He drove his dad around and shit. He was a junkie who drove his father around and then put his father in the can. He's trying to listen. The disgusting excuses he has and reasoning for doing what he did in this makes me sick.
We get to do that because we choose to. Look at us.
These commercials. What the fuck off. Far right feet.
Michael said you always tried to teach them the right thing to do.
I try to teach anybody the right thing.
In my opinion, he don't even want to be talking to these people. It looks like he looks uncomfortable. Maybe I'm wrong.
Thank God. Thank God I reached some of my children. I told them all, they were books. They were books.
103?
One is a school teacher.
Really? He lived to 103 years old. So what year did he put him away when? So he went to jail at what? 90 years old? I think he magic. Hold on a second. 90 years old. He went to jail. His father, his own son, put him away at 90, I believe. What's up, Salty? A junkie isn't a rat like a rat doesn't have his tail, rare as hell. What's up, Salty? Wow, that's sick. Yeah. All right, so imagine that, putting your 90-something-year-old dad in the fucking clink. Jesus.
Lorraine's a teacher. Lorraine is
Lorraine's a school teacher. But she's more than a school teacher. She teaches teachers.
Yeah, she's a master teacher. She's a master teacher.
They all tell me that they took after me. I said, you didn't take after me. They said, what do you mean, Dad? You're a smart man. I said, no. I'm not a smart man. If I was a smart man, I'd love him to a little time in jail.
I've had this conversation with my dad. He doesn't take responsibility for anything that happened in the family.
See, he also blames his father for everything, and he's the one who sent that lady there to talk to him. See this whole little documentary right here? How do you think this little disgusting documentary got done? Because holy Mike, Pope Michael I sent those people there to fucking bum rush and ambush his old dad.
None of this would have happened if I didn't get framed. I said that. I understand that, but why did they frame you, Dad? I said, they didn't frame you because you were a doctor, a lawyer, a priest. They framed you because you're a street guy. Any lifestyle that does that to a family is evil. There's no other way to describe it. How you would visit my friends' houses and eat dinner.
This guy's out of his mind. He looks like Dracula, man.
I used to think it was the craziest thing because their parents would ask them, how was your day? And how do you feel? And listen to the children, to my friends and the other people in the house.
Are they trying to paint it like every mob family, like the father was a piece of shit or not a good dad and didn't talk to them? Because that's not true. That might be in the case of their family thing, but it's weird.
And either their mother or
What
their
you doing a documentary? You're just throwing your father under the bus and you fucking put him in the can. Jesus.
father.
Sonny was married for the first time, and they
Hey, this is a daughter-in-law, Roberta Franzese, Sonny Francese's former daughter-in-law. So she must have been married to either Holy Mike or Junkie John, Judas.
together, and Carmine was one of them.
Look how this is disgusting also and very groupie and fanboyish. Look how they did this. This is disgusting if you ask me. Like watch how they
Sonny was married for the first time, and
this little
they had 3 kids
fucking
together.
like why look the Franzese family ex-wife, they put them all like the FBI does on the Mafia. This is fucking goofy, cringy, man.
And Carmine was
Holy Mike, shame on you, Holy Mike, and junkie fucking Johnny Franzese.
one of them, and I eventually was married to Carmine. Later, Sonny married Tina, and adopted Michael, and had John G.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Sonny was 93 when he went away the last time. So yeah, that's when the son put him away, correct? Yeah, all right. That's when Judas put him away. Looks like something. Yes, yeah, very well put, James. I agree.
and Tina.
Me and Carmine would go to Jones Beach at night, just sit and look at the stars. I remember sitting there one night talking to him about how my father and Michael always had girlfriends and other women living in other apartments.
Wow.
I love Terry, but I date all these other women. It seems to be what we do.
Well, that's weird. Why would you even talk? Why would you even go on here and talk about this shit, you rap ass? This is a guy who got in front of a fucking courtroom and pointed his father out, or a wire on his dick.
That's what I saw growing up.
That's what I saw growing up, and he loved every fucking minute of it when he was younger. What's up, Maddie? What's going on, dude? This is a very tragic story right here. This is disgusting. This guy doing this to some old father. Look, I shut my commercials off to the live streams.
On a whole
Come on, hurry up.
but down to work.
What?
Wonderful.
Not the world? Come on.
This fiber internet delivers upload speed
Fucking
just as fast as your download speed.
The clippings and old photos that helped tell the story, most of them came from the Newsday Library.
No, where's this lady looking? That's sticking here?
Shrub Hollow Road. Right here. Yeah, those are the Tina pictures.
Tina pictures?
So this is around his indictment. Tina thought she was marrying this older, glamorous, and wealthy man, and she was. But when they got back from their honeymoon, she found out something else. She found out that he had 3 children from his first marriage, and she was expected to take care of them.
Yeah, this guy had like what, 2 different families or something like that? That's crazy. That's got to be tough for the kids, man.
That lie and all the lies that followed set the stage for anger, resentment, and physical and emotional abuse at home. The pressure of mob life
Yeah,
became too much for her.
And the truth was, there was violence in my house. I saw my mother beat my brother with a metal ashtray, and he just stood there and said, hit me, hit me, hit me. And I remember she was
like a little fucking kid. In my mind, what? So what? She hit him with an ashtray. What's that? Like, it probably didn't even hurt him. He's a grown man.
and hit him, and his eye
I don't.
went out like that.
I would be very obstinate. I said, hit me again. Can't do it. You feel good? And, one day with an ash.
If that is true, that's very abusive lifestyle. And did the mother might have been mentally disabled or something? Because who the hell would beat your fucking son with an ashtray? It's weird.
Another day with a guitar. There was a lot of that in the house. One day I came home. She started that with my sister. I saw her and my sister on the floor wrestling. Yeah, it was horrible.
This is disgusting. Imagine coming up here and putting all your family's secrets and shit out there like this. This is terrible. Shame on these guys. Like, don't get me wrong, for like other people it's good entertainment, but picture if you were a member of his family, like a niece or a nephew, like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, stop saying this shit.
Well, my sister-in-law, she was like that. And I don't know what it was in her that made her do that, but I got beat up a lot from her. I mean, really.
This team.
Now, do you think she resented Oh Holy Mike because he was adopted, maybe? Do you think that could have been it? Like, she didn't beat the other kids. She was just, oh, yeah, she beat the girl, too. Okay. It wasn't just that he was adopted. Nothing wrong with being adopted, but sometimes some parents might, I don't know, resent the fact that he's not the real father or something. But I guess that wasn't the case because she was beating up the sister.
Did she make these? Probably.
She was a magic. She liked the woman, but she left to spend money. Yeah, what could you do? God bless her. Sorry she had
Yeah.
time.
That's another thing. That tells you a lot about Oh Holy Mike, about Pope Michael. Is the father's living in this place. He shouldn't do this. He should be living in a way better place than this, right? Fucking shame. Michael is just a greedy bastard. What's up, Nicholas? What's going on? Pride of Scotland.
I never figured she died.
Yeah.
I figured the devil didn't want her.
Yeah.
I figured God didn't want her, you know? She was a strong-headed woman. She wasn't afraid, you know, she wasn't afraid.
She fought like crazy to get you out of prison.
Huh?
She fought to get you out of prison.
She was a good woman. She was very, very, very stern about things. She didn't care. Yeah. Because she said, look, Sonny, you don't have to tell me you're innocent. I know you're innocent. I said, what makes you say that? She said, Sonny, if they were your friends, I would know them. She said, you introduced me to everybody, you know. She was right.
Some of the funnier tapes when Sonny would go home.
Yeah, so that's one good thing about her. At least she loved him a lot and tried to get him out of jail and fought for him. Now, who's this guy? Vincent D'Agostino, former FBI agent. All right, he's a Fed. Let's see what he's got to say.
And when Tina was still alive, and I was with him, obviously, and just the verbal abuse from Tina towards Sonny. Here's this man who's stacked bodies, and this woman unloading on him with some of the nastiest things you can imagine. And his response is, stop it, you son of a gun. Would you stop it? You're embarrassing me in front of my friend. You know,
No, he's not you.
Getting a mouthful from his wife. He was so uncomfortable. You're listening to it was very uncomfortable. And so they get back in the car, and then, you know, again, Sonny being this relic, this old school mentality, he actually he would apologize, and then, you know, say, you know, Tina, she's crazy, but I love her. You know, like, there's just something very sweet about it. It's like this
fucking weirdo, you know, coming on these fucking things, talking how sweet. He's fucking
this very weird dynamic of an old man.
These Fed agents are friends with this rat bastard, with the brothers. These are the Fed agents that are still buddies because they form relationships and become friends and keep in contact.
You know, been through all this craziness, and there was a line that he wasn't on the cross with disrespecting his wife for that way.
What's up, Doc? We rock. What's up, Doc? Gulags.
Franzese and wife continue to argue.
Now, this is terrible. Imagine look at this fucking decrepit broad coming up here, this dumb lady, reading all this, like, intimate shit of him and his wife fighting, reading it to this old guy. Like, leave the old man alone. He's 100 and something years old, for Christ's sakes. They're just using him. Sort of like Schmiegel and Sammy, the Schmiegel Gravano's kids do with him, like Schmiegel's kids do.
I was on pins and needles. This is you. I was on pins and needles. I didn't know something. I didn't know something if something had happened to you. Franzese and wife put kids to bed. Franzese has apparently left the house.
Me and my wife argued. My wife argued with the devil. She argued with everybody.
Why is she bringing this shit up? Like, he's like, all right, my wife argued. What is she thinking he's going to say? Like, is this some fucking Michael said, say it to his face? Say what to his face? Does he mean his dad? Does he mean his dad? I'm doing good, Doc. My mom took a mini stroke Friday, but she's doing well now, thank God. I don't understand why this lady's putting this thing in there. And no, this guy's Italian.
My father was no match for my mother.
But this is Judas right here. That's the Judas son who put him in jail. He wore a wire on his 98-year-old father, the junkie bastard.
Intellectually, and he was at a disadvantage because no matter what he said about her, he couldn't help that he loved her so much.
But Tina was a boss. Very bossy.
This is a filmmaker and friend. How would a 30-year-old Fed know what was said in a martial fight 40 years ago, a maternal fight 40 years ago? Was he there? That's how it made sense. Either lies or they just got it from the whatchamacallit, from the fucking transcripts from FBI. No, you're not blocked. I don't know if you're the real dude or not, but if you're the real guy, no disrespect, you're not welcome here. I don't deal with the people who dox and attack people's families and stuff.
Want it? You know how to go about getting it.
Who's this guy, Doc?
And she didn't take no.
He didn't take. They must have read. He wouldn't know. That's a great point, Ron. How would this guy or the other guy know anything about a maternal fucking argument? These fucking sick fucks read through fucking FBI transcripts between husband and wives talking the whole nine. You got to be a sick fucking fanboy to do that.
This is something that Tina gave to her daughter, Christina. Tina late in life was
God bless you, Doc. Oh, well.
really very spiritual, and she sent
Yeah,
cards
it's all about the money.
with affirmations to all her children. She wanted them to do well in life. When we went into the basement where Tina last lived, I was digging through all these personal effects, all these things she saved, and among the personal effects were love letters written by other women to Sonny while he was in his 90s in prison.
Wow.
So when you think of all the
That's odd.
indignities that Tina had to suffer, I mean, she obviously saw those letters. I think that might be a cleaning.
This is where this is sad. All this woman's stuff is thrown in like some basement, all like probably after this documentary, they probably all threw it out for junk.
To live with me at the end of her life because she had nowhere to go. She had been evicted from her place of residence.
Man, where's old Pope Michael? Where's religious Michael? His mother was living like this. That tells you a lot about a man. Anybody who would leave their mother or father out in the cold, living in places like that, and imagine being wealthy and not even throwing your mother money or your father money or helping them at all. Man, that's fucking terrible. Jesus. That's why I can't. And all these dummies. That's why I hate. And most of these people who watch these fucking mob fucking shows, I can't stomach you people. People are all fucking weirdos in my book. These people are all fucking sick.
She lived with me for about 2 years. She had just spent her last dollar trying to save her daughter's life because her daughter had, very serious cancer. Little Tina.
Gia and Tina were big fans of mine, and they always wanted to spend time with me and talk to me.
Yeah, and that's when you gave the poor kid drugs.
I really never had time for them. Other than like an older brother, if they got in trouble in school or if someone
He's
was
leaving out the
bothering them,
fucking syringes he gave the poor girl.
was real good at that. But I think that's more because I was worried. I was more concerned.
Doc, he's still here, so it looks like Yentifer a little. If you had got here.
That image of being an older brother and being John Franzese.
Gia was fun loving.
How does this guy know? Is he a friend or just a documentary guy? Did he know the family growing up?
Outspoken.
She'd call and we'd have to go pick her up somewhere terrible.
You OD'd in the hotel room?
She just really
old?
had a bad problem.
John wrote me.
Really? 23 years old. What a shame. What a fucking shame. 23. I heard from a lot of people that the brother Johnny introduced her to drugs. Fucking shame.
A text message the other day.
I think Oh Holy Mike says that.
And he writes me, he says, do you remember? And then he says, of course you remember how you found me in the back of the theater under a desk smoking crack.
What? What the fuck? So Johnny Franzese wrote this guy a letter, and this guy found Johnny Franzese smoking crack under a desk in the back of a theater. Does that sound like a mobster to you? Like that Johnny Franzese is trying to tell everybody he was a mob guy with his father. No, he was his father's gopher. You know, a lot of wise guys use their nephews, their sons, and shit like that to just go gopher for them. You know? And then he had a drug problem. And then when he got busted, they're like, hey, your father's Sonny Franzese. Help put your father away, and these drug charges will go away. That's exactly what happened. Disgusting.
And you got me cleaned up into my sister's funeral.
Well, good for this guy.
I know it's a long time
At least,
before Christmas, but if we're going to get
Michael Duncan Clock over there actually got fucking at least Johnny to his sister's funeral. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing since this guy got her hooked on drugs. Nah, this is oh holy Mike. And look at his shit. Look at what a scum. He's got a look, reborn again Christian? I don't think so. Look, he's got a fucking chain on that says made. How fucking cringy, stupid. That's why I can't stomach Michael Franzese, man. I hate him. Sometimes I kind of hate the fucking these rats that go around acting like they're classy and fucking like the Mikey Scares and the Michael Franceses. I can't stomach them guys. I can't stomach them rat bastards. This guy's got a fucking chain around his neck that says made. Love being awake when I don't have to work. What's up, Sybil? I'm glad I could entertain you. The daughter OD'd at 27 years old. All right, 27. Still young and sad. Look at him, a chain that says made on it, with like an like a mob thing over it, like fucking the Godfather thing. Fucking disgusting. Well, he's not doing no more religious stuff. You notice that? Ever since him and Schmiegel, that scumbag Gravano, sat down with that fucking Shah of Iran. No more religious stuff from Holy Mike. He used the evangelicals to what he wanted. Fucking dopes.
It hurts to see your baby sister in that condition and realizing that it was at the hands of another guy that is either shooting her up, supplying her.
That's
and Bobby, look, you know, I did stuff in that life that you're required to do. But my, not regrets, but the things that I know that the worst things in my life were people that I hurt because of my sister, because I just couldn't take the idea that somebody was doing that to my sister.
There's always going to be somebody that sells drugs. Like you can go around and beat people up and tell them not to sell drugs to your family all they want. Drug dealers don't care. They care about the money, you know? So let's say Michael's saying that he went around and beat people up and told them, don't sell drugs to my sister. Yeah, I believe him. He probably did. Or maybe he didn't. Who the fuck knows with these rat bastards? But even if he did, those people aren't going to listen. Maybe a couple of them will. Let's say if he told 5 drug dealers, maybe 2 of them might listen. The other 3 are going to want their money, or they're going to tell her, don't tell nobody. It's a secret, you know?
No, they tried to get her all the help, and she wound up passing away from an overdose.
It was a disaster on an outward scale.
What?
But it's a...
Look at this is Judas. Look at his teeth, too. Look at his fucking teeth, this Judas goat bastard. What he did to his father. Wait till that part comes. The beginning part is about, like I said, the family thing right here, which is very, very sad.
Disaster for all of us internally.
Like act like he gave a fuck. I don't think this guy right here gave a fuck about anyone on this planet but himself. None of these rat bastards, all these informants are selfish human beings. They don't give a fuck about their family at all. At all. Or they would have never gotten into that life, or they would have never told on people. Because if you do something, do it all the way. If you're gonna be a criminal, be a criminal, you know. And if you get in trouble, which you're going to, because that's what happens when you're a criminal, go to jail. Don't tell on people. And in his case, he should have went to jail with the drugs that he got caught with, and not put his old father in jail. His dude's burning in hell.
Disaster on an outward scale. But it's a disaster for all of us internally.
Despite what this life did to their father, and despite what his absence did to the family, his 2 sons, Michael and John, willingly followed in his footsteps.
Michael was a leader in the neighborhood. He coached us in Little League. He would take us out for ice cream. And just the way he walked, talked, and
I say two sons. Maybe Michael followed his father into that footsteps, but Johnny Franzese did, and he wasn't a mob guy or nothing like that. He was his father and brother's gopher. That doesn't make you a mob guy because you gopher for somebody.
acted. Everybody wanted to be like Michael because of how he carried himself.
Michael's a very articulate, intelligent man. And he's another man that could have...
Look who's talking like this, the former FBI agents.
Made it really big in industry and business, and he took up the life. Very much like Sonny, as far as his mannerisms and speaking.
I never said to my dad...
Well, not every junkie's a bad person, but most likely, obviously, if you deal with somebody hooked on drugs, they're going to fuck you over, right? Like, use your brain. You got to be smart enough to know, well, let me not... whatever, you hang out with this guy who's shooting or smoking crack or whatever, because something bad's going to happen.
Dad, I want to be part of this life. What happened when I went to see him at Leavenworth, I said, Dad, I'm not going to school. I said,
Hey, what did he just say? He said he never wanted to be part of this life. These guys wanted to be part of that life more than anything. Trust that.
And he took up the life. Very much like Sonny, as far as his mannerisms and speaking.
I never said to my dad, I want to be part of this life.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I don't believe him one bit right there. What's up, Beantown? You believe that? I don't believe that. No, you're right. They don't care. Yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving, Beantown. God bless you. Putting you on the speaker. All right. No. All right, Sybil. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't believe that right there. No one makes you become... Your father doesn't make you become a mob guy. No father's going to do that. It's the dumbest thing in the world. You're setting your kid up for failure. Why would you make somebody do something they don't want to do, right?
What happened when I went to see him at Leavenworth, I said, Dad, I'm not going to school. I said, you're going to die in here. And he said, I don't want you being around.
Look at him. He wanted to be that pot so bad until it was time to go to jail. Then tell on Norby Walters.
On that. I said, well, Dad, it's too late. My mind is made up. This is what I want to do. So he said, okay, but if you're going to be on the street, I want you on the street the right way.
I don't believe that. He was begging his father. I want you on the street the right way.
And his mind, the right way was to become a member of his life. So he said, go home. Somebody's going to be in touch with you. You do whatever they tell you to do. That's when things...
He was begging his father for that.
Started for me. It's almost like you step outside of yourself and you just do what you have to.
So how did Michael Franzese first come across your radar?
The FBI was interested in Michael Franzese as a target.
They were interested in Italians as a target. Get the Italians.
Michael had inherited much of what his father was doing. He was sophisticated. He was smart, beginning to make money through illegal means, through the infiltration of insurance companies, the oil and gas industry, the entertainment business, which his father had been involved in.
He had all that money, and he was able to keep a lot of money, too. Why didn't he give that money to his mom or help them out?
And on and on and on.
Look at these cringy, goofy pictures. He looks like Jim Jones, for Christ's sakes. Come to Jonestown. Join me at the evangelical. All of a sudden, I'm a mob guy now. I'm a mob guy again. Wearing that chain, mate. This guy is the biggest phony bastard around. Fucking Jim Jones.
There was no other...
Look at that cringy picture of him.
I would say that was bringing in as much money as gas. That's it. I was giving a family $2 million a week at times. That money doesn't come from anywhere else. Trust me.
I don't know if Al Capone made that kind of money. That's some serious, serious money.
You're a serious, sick FBI guy who, after you become an FBI agent, you become friends with the rat bastard.
Became a major target of law enforcement myself. I was indicted several times. 2 federal racketeering indictments, one brought on by Giuliani.
Anton Valukas. He called me up and, said, hey, congratulations. You did a great job of convicting Michael Franzese, but he's cooperating with us. And, we're going to come into New York and we're going to support his motion for a reduced sentence. And I said, no, you're not. You're going to be completely nuts. Norby Walters don't cut it. He's able.
Norby Walters don't cut it. We need more people. See, a lot of people will say, well, he only told on Norby Walters. Norby's not, or whatever the fuck his first name is. Norby. I don't know the fucking guy. But he's not Italian. So a lot of them, these mob humps and shit, will say, well, you didn't tell on an Italian guy. I don't give a fuck if you rat on a toad. You don't tell on nobody. If you decide to become a criminal, which you shouldn't do, that's wrong. But if you decide to become a criminal or get involved in gangs or organized crime or rackets, whatever, fucking be a criminal. Do what you got to do. Don't tell on people.
To give up Carmine Persico, and he probably sat down with Gotti and Fat Tony Salerno and Chingiganti.
Look how happy he is. Look at the boisterous in his voice as he's telling this. It's like he's talking about fucking like a 5-year-old. The Wizard of Oz is coming on Friday.
I mean, Michael was up there in the leadership of the Colombo crime family. And he
says who? Says the FBI and Michael. You know, Michael probably didn't even meet half of these guys he's saying he did.
He's a huge earner, and he had
probably looked at him as they probably took his. Somebody else probably took his money. They probably looked at him as Sonny's little brat son.
The ability to give us all sorts.
I didn't even know he existed.
Very significant people.
They were going after us like crazy. I just saw that we were in trouble, and that our time in this life was over. And I was the youngest guy out of everybody, and I saw guys getting indicted, getting convicted, and getting 100 years. And I was able to negotiate a good deal on this whole gas tax thing.
Negotiate. You told on people, man. You told on people. Yeah, you. Out of all these people, just you were so slick and sly and debonair where you negotiated that. You told on people.
These are the FBI files of Colombo Capo Gregory Scarpa. In the late 1980s, he got arrested for running the Long Island gas tax scam.
This is the guy who had the HIV. Gregory Scarpa, she's talking about. This guy was a real fucking wacko. Good morning, Teresa and Charlie. A wacko stool pigeon. Him working with these FBI agents. These FBI agents, such corrupt animals.
All these gas stations on Long Island were, he was stealing the sales tax money, making millions of dollars. And so to get a shorter sentence, he decided to cooperate. Carmine Persico, one of Sonny's closest friends, authorized a hit on Michael.
I remember I ran to see my dad.
Who's this guy?
Because I'm like, Dad, what do I do here? He said, son, we never let anyone tell us to kill our own family, nor do we.
I don't even believe he asked his father this.
He said, but that dies here with me and you. He said, but here's how we help that not happen. We start listening for anybody trying to imply that and seeing if you would be willing, if they're promising you things.
What are you talking about? The kid, he told on people. He ratted on people. He's no good no more. There's nothing that you can do to make that better.
To get close to your brother. He said, you make believe that you would be willing to do that so that we could find out where that's coming from.
Where's it coming from? It's coming from the fucking rules of your organization, supposedly, right? It's fucking the way it goes. Probably your boss, underboss, anybody. The fucking son told on people. So I don't believe this story that Johnny just told to his father. It makes no sense.
And we can
Didn't Michael say himself the father was going to let him get killed if that story is even true? You can't believe anything these stool pigeons say or these rats say.
Take care of that.
Chicky Lito said to Frankie Camp, if I was Sonny, I would get my son over here, Michael, and I would kill him. I would kill him. All right, your son's a rat. And if you ain't going to do it, get somebody else to do it. I remember clear as day. Now, Frank Campione took a look.
He remembers this. Where's the transcripts to back this up? And even transcripts, I don't believe. The FBI, people can say, well, MRA, Nick, you're fucking nuts. You don't believe transcripts. Well, in the cases from a court, maybe, yeah. But no, just FBI writing up what they heard or what they think. No, they lie all the time.
Little lighter view of that. He said, well, he goes, Chicky, he goes, well, who did he really hurt? Michael, that is. Michael, who did he really hurt?
Look, see what they're trying to do? Who did Michael really hurt? Meaning, who did he get in trouble? No Italian guys. He only told on, I don't know what Norby is, what the fuck he is, nationality. I don't know. I don't care. You don't tell on anybody. It's a fucking telling anybody. But see how they're trying to make Michael not look like a rat? Like, who did Michael hurt? Michael didn't really, he's not really a rat.
And so, Chickies, I don't care. You kill your son. Specifically, I remember those three. Kill your son.
And that might sound harsh, but listen, if you join a criminal organization, it's called organized crime, right? If you join a criminal organization and you break the rules, yeah, you're going to get killed, right? You're going to get killed. And if the father let the son join, according to him, my dad wanted me to join so bad. Well, the dad's got to know that comes with it, right? I don't believe anything these guys say.
Who wanted to testify?
Once again, look at his fucking chain. It says made, and it's got the Godfather strings holding it. I thought he was a reborn again Christian.
Fight against anybody. I never testified to any of my former associates. I told them straight out, don't ask me anything about my father. Totally off limits. So I tried to outsmart them.
Thank you.
But he leaves out. He did tell on somebody. He might not have told on his father or wore a wire on his dad. What are you supposed to get kudos for that? You're not supposed to. Love when these people are like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. You're not supposed to do that, Like, what the fuck? You're still told on people.
Good morning. You can take a real good look
at this book, From Godfather to the Godfather. Now, this is a few years ago this was made. Very recently, in the last few years, he abandoned the whole Christian thing, if you notice, because he started making money with Schmiegel Gravano and the rest of these fucking filthy stool pigeons on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm probably the most blessed, most fortunate person that's ever going to walk up here and speak to you about anything.
And this is the last time you're ever going to hear me, because this dirty little Schmiegel-looking character helps us get on the show of Iran next week.
Had I been left up to my own to do what I wanted to do in my life, I'd either be dead or in prison for the rest of my life.
What's up, Ben?
And quite honestly, that's what I deserved. Now, let me tell you how effective God has been in my life. When I walked away.
This guy's crazy. Hold on. Mike, yeah, I hope you're feeling better, man. I didn't know you were feeling down. Yeah, the Father. Yeah, that would be a good one. Oh, holy Mike.
Away from that life, everybody predicted my death. And I mean everybody. In 1975, Halloween night, 44 years ago, this coming Thursday, I woke.
Look at this. Notice back then when this was uploaded 3 years ago, and this is probably like 5 or 6, 7 years old, right? He had the cross on back then because he's playing to all the Christians back then, right? He's playing to all the Christians. You don't have to play to them no more. He don't need them no more and need their money.
Walked into a room with 5 other gentlemen. Tonight, I'm the only one alive. Not one of those men died of natural causes. They were all murdered. We had a big war in our family in the early 90s. A bunch of guys got killed. A lot of guys went to jail for life. Okay, and poor Michael, during that time, I was in the hole. Okay, God probably protected my life, keeping me in lockdown for 3 years. And what it tells you is this, people, when God's got a plan and a purpose for us, and he does for every one of us, nothing is going to stand in the way. God bless you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Look at this shit. This is pathetic, man. Ugh.
It's getting to my wife now. She didn't want me to come to Long Island. She's still afraid for me to come back here. I said, look, don't worry about it. It's okay.
All right, hear what he just said right there? Break that down. His wife's scared to him for go to Long Island. She hates the mob shit in his past. Wouldn't she be angry what he's doing right now? Doing all these sit-downs with a child killer like Sammy Gravano? Big brother Tim, what's up, man? Oh, Bane. He had a seizure. No shit. Oh, fuck. When I do my rosary later, I'll do a rosary for you or say a prayer for you, man. Wouldn't his wife be mad if he was doing all this fucking stupid mob groupie fanboy fucking YouTube shit with Sammy Gravano and all this stuff? He doesn't do much on Jesus no more. Not any podcast about religion or nothing like that. Not at all. Just all stupid cringe mafia shit. Because he's a fucking con man. He's phony the whole time.
Security here, but she actually gets upset with me. You know, I don't live in fear, and I'm not, that way. I'm just careful.
I'm probably going to be back.
Careful. They got nothing to fear. Nobody kills nobody. There's no mob no more. They're not killing people. You fucking clowns. he throws out a bunch of God bless your families lines that make him a good guy. Yeah, he's a con man. He wasn't serious. If he was serious about it, Maddie, put it this way, he would have never sat down with Schmiegel. He wouldn't do those stupid Mafia streams. He'd be doing like he was doing back then, like preaching to people, going to Christian churches, involved with the church and all stuff like that, doing streams about it and stuff. None of this stuff.
In about 2 weeks. Just I'm coming. Yeah, just I'm going to visit my daughters because I have 2 daughters here and visit my dad.
I didn't know till I was
Visit his dad. Yeah, you mean go there with what valuetainment?
16 about our life at all. I had suspected it, but no one ever said it to me. No one. Michael had gotten straightened out the night before, got made a good fella. He got
made a good fella. This guy's whacked out of his head. He gets all this fed to him by the feds. What's up, double agent provocateur? These people are sick.
Me down when I was 16, and he told me everything. Look, and when he started telling me, it was like,
Look, Michael, so he's telling us soon after Michael got made, Michael ran home. I ran all the way home, just to say he ran all the way home and tells little brother Johnny all about his finger getting pricked. What the fuck? I gotta listen to that again.
No one. Michael had gotten straightened out the night before, got made a good fella. He sat me down when I was 16, and he told me everything. And when he started telling me, it was like, I'm not crazy.
Look at that! Look at that serial killer face. Look, is there any more crystal meth? Did anybody say heroin? Wow, he looks creepy. Fucking Dracula.
Hello?
Hi, Norby. It's Sandra Pay from Newsday.
This is the guy he told on.
Yes, Sandra.
I am calling to see if you'd be willing to comment on a story that I'm doing about Sonny, John, and Michael Franzese.
No.
Because John tells a story about how they... and he feels bad about it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, Michael feels bad. What happened with him? Like good for the Norby guy. They're like, fuck you. Michael told on me. Why the fuck would I talk to you? It's about some documentary you're making so Michael can get a buck and Johnny can get a buck.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. I hope. Do you ever see the father?
I do. Do you want me to say anything to him? I'll be seeing him this week.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
I thought what we did had some kind of justification.
Wow.
There were rumblings inside of me that's
justification. So telling on Norby, let's see what his justification is for telling on Norby Walters. Let's see what his justification is. His Michael, the brother, but younger brother, Junior. It's Michael. I don't know. I think I don't know. I know they're brothers. They're half brothers. Same mom, different dad.
Certainly sometimes came up. Like, it really surfaced with Norby Walters. Norby was our friend, and he was the most likable guy.
He used to give me tickets to every concert in town. Marvin Gaye, everybody. You know, he was a ticket.
And how did I repay him? I told on him.
Good guy.
He'd just take over the conversation in a way, make you happy. You wonder where all this energy and just fun.
Bitch, how that poor bastard must feel. Like, I gave all these guys money, got them tickets. He was good to them, and they fucked him like that.
And came out of him. And I was there at the Stage Deli 3 weeks after my dad came home in 1978. And Norby was sitting there, and we're having a ball, talking about old times. And my dad said, let's get to business, Norby. I hear you're doing very well all them years I've been gone. You know, nobody bothered you because of me.
My father tells Norby, you know, I'm your partner. Norby looks at him. He says, Sonny, you weren't my partner.
And he said, how much do you think a week we should get paid? And Norby started doing.
I don't even believe this guy was sitting there. It's hard to believe. Yeah, he was. I think I don't know what drug he does. Crack and dope. So opiates and cocaine he uses.
Norby seems very animated. My dad said 3,000 or 3,800. Remember, I never heard him act like a gangster like this. And Norby started hemming and hawing. And my dad looked at him and said, "Hey, Norby."
Who was in jail? I don't know. No, he's probably not, because he's very old, the guy, and they called him on the phone. So no, that guy's not in jail no more. I don't know how long, whatever time he got or he did, I don't know. But he's evidently home. The lady called him.
How much is your life worth?
Norby turns white.
And Norby goes like this. Done.
A parade of people have had encounters with the Galactic Federation.
Just like that. Not another word got said. And on the way home, walking to the car, my dad and Michael said, "John, we got something to tell you." He said, "Me and your brother have been talking, and we're going to give you the music business. We're going to give you Norby."
The music. Hold on a second. I want to put double agent says. There's a video on YouTube of Pope Michael testifying in front of the Senate, naming all kinds of names and crimes. That's textbook definition of informant. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Exactly. So I don't know how the fuck in his sick mind that he thinks that if they get any time guy usually do 5. Yeah. Man, I just don't understand how he tries to tell people he's not a rat. Like, one thing that filthy Schmiegel was right, that Gravano scumbag, child killer, was right. You're a rat too. You're just like us. You might have not testified or got on the stand, but you're just like us. You're a stool pigeon. Admit it. See, Michael has got stool pigeon denial. He's in stool pigeon denial.
I was the one that picked up money from him. Every week it was either $3,000 or $3,800. It didn't bother me then.
Yeah, that don't make you a mobster. Just because you go for and pick up money for. See, that's what a lot of these people would do. If they were a guy like Johnny, or if you're related to some wise guy or something, and you had to go for him and pick some things up or whatever. These people try to act like they were gangsters or they were mob guys and shit. It's fucking twisted, man. Imagine I just go picking up a few bucks for your father or whatever, and you're coming on these shows acting like you're a gangster. You were a gangster. It's not the case, man.
Well, here's how sick I was. I felt proud of my dad. And I realized.
Why wouldn't you be proud of your father putting food on the table? That's just me, Someone beats his dentures, sit down. He stole Pete's dentures. Well, they got the jaw thing. That's a drug use from right here. Jaw.
Hell, that's what it means to be a Franzese.
In the end of the day, nobody gave a damn about Norby Walters, quite honestly. Honestly,
this is disgusting. Listen to this narcissistic piece of shit. Norby Walters had a family. He was a man who lost his freedom because nobody really cared about Norby. Nobody cared that I was an informant rat. So I'm not really a rat.
Honestly, I saved Norby Walters' life twice. Twice.
So that makes up for it. It's like me doing you 2 favors, and then I take your life away from you, and then I put you in jail. Like, give me a break.
I mean, Junior wanted to kill him. My father was very unhappy with him. Right in the stage delicatessen, I saved his life. He would be gone a long time ago if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I bet. If they really wanted to kill him or do something, it was you that saved them, of course. Archangel Mike comes down. Holy Mike, give me a break.
Norby Walters reveals what the Franceses thought about friendship. Sonny liked Norby personally, but it didn't matter. To him, he was just another envelope. He was another paycheck.
Honestly, a lot of people think Sonny only had 3 kids, Michael Jr. and the sister that died, but he had 8 kids. Oh, really? Yeah, didn't he have a few families, a few different, families, a couple of different wives or something? I think it said it earlier.
John Jr. viewed him more from a kid's perspective, and he couldn't really understand why his father would shake down a pal of theirs.
Oh, he don't get a kid's perspective. Get the fuck. He knew just what his father was doing. He knew what he was.
Michael viewed Norby as a tool, someone he could use, and he did, and he testified against him. And that horrified Tina because she could not stand the idea of her son being an informant. Norby was convicted a year later.
So Michael Francese's mother didn't want to talk to him no more because of the fact that he was an informant. Wow, that's funny. That's funny. Where does the part where Sonny talks about feeding a crackhead named Tony Pizza bacon? I don't think there is that part, man. Don't exist.
It was overturned, but for John, it was a turning point.
What really was upsetting for me, not only did we shake him down for money those years, then he was sent to jail.
Huh.
He had no choice to be involved with us.
You just put him in jail.
He would have gotten hurt.
You were the three guys, and the other family members seem unimportant or weren't involved, or...
Well, yeah, see, because I was proposed.
Yeah, right.
And Michael...
He was proposed. Get the fuck out of here. They all do this shit. Gene Borello, all these rats do this shit.
My dad were good fellows, and I was going to follow their life.
Yeah, right. Your father knew you had a drug problem. Everybody and their fucking mother knew you have a drug problem. That's no way. It's really fucking sick.
That's what the prerequisite was. Everyone else was an outsider. And from the minute I was proposed, Michael and my dad told me I was their partner. They talked as if I was their partner. They acted as if I was their partner, except when it had to do with money. I can't complain. I
think you were high, dude. I think you were high as hell thinking that. This guy's out of his mind.
Up an alcoholic and a junkie.
How long were you an addict?
Yeah, they're going to imagine that. They're going to propose an alcoholic junkie. Makes no sense. He's full of shit, this guy. You know what? I picked the wrong one. Hold on. Let me go to the other one. John's story. Now, I was wondering, what the fuck? I was like, why does it talk about the other stuff and not his junkie shit? Hold on a minute. What the fuck? Let me put his name again. Son of a bitch. What a dirtbag. What a dirtbag. Against his father. Oh, here it is. This is the one. All right, hold on. This dirty bastard. This gets more into him. Is Gene? Hold on. I'll answer you in a second, Sybil. No, no, he's not. He was just on. I seen one of my buddies sent me. He was on some weird news thing talking about Puff Daddy. Tonto was on some news thing talking about Puff Daddy. It was dating in prison, looking through dating through slots in prison. It was the most bizarre, weird thing I've ever seen. It was sick. Yeah, that's disgusting, Tim.
Everyone knew who he was. People.
Of course, everybody knew he is. He's Sonny's kid, but they also knew he was a drug addict, and there's no way they were going to propose a drug addict. Get out of here.
Tended to tell their children not to play with those people. John Jr. once called me and my mother at that.
This is an old lady, Elaine Goldman. Francese's neighbor, who Johnny used to call up and ask for drugs and money from. What a sicko. What's up, Ron? How's Miss America doing? Send my love to Miss America. He was under contract filming Bad Vegan, no bacon was allowed. You talk about pizza, gotcha.
1 o'clock at night, waking us up, asking to borrow money because his wife's car was stuck.
Now, if he was, like you said, going to be proposed, he was with doing all this stuff, why is he begging this lady for money? He was a Junkbox. His fucking father and maybe his brother hit him off for a few bucks once in a while to keep him fucking happy. What's up, Dick? What's going on? Sick.
And he needed to have cash to have it towed. And I really don't think it was a true story. It took 9 months for him to pay it back.
It wasn't.
Father walks in one day, puts his hand on my shoulder, goes, "Come here, I'm going to talk to you for a minute," and goes to shake my hand. As I shook his hand, I felt something, and he said, "Listen, you're doing a good thing
Good morning,
for
Chad.
the kids. I want to thank you, and just keep working with my son, and I appreciate it."
This is one of Johnny's buddies, I guess, Pete Brodsky, a boxing trainer.
So I don't know, and he walked away, and then I walked into my office over there, and it was $5,000. Almost fell over.
John Franzese, the son, one of the nicest, sweetest,
right,
considerate, and gregarious people ever meet.
How could you say that about a guy? That was the biggest hypocritical fucking statement I've ever seen ever. How could he be a good guy when he did that to his father? He gave his sister drugs.
His drug habit was completely off the charts.
This boy was about 22, 23 years old already. And he was trapped in that drug world, and he really, really wanted to get out of it. And I think a good part of the motivation was to please his father. I noticed his dad would come down every night. We sat down and listened to him about his son and his concern. And I mean concern to the point when he talked about it, I saw a tear in his eye. And I told the kid over and over, I said, "I wish I had a dad like that."
Well, when I would shoot cocaine,
How did he repay him in jail?
How dirty the bathrooms are in New York when toilets don't work.
Wow.
I take the toilet bowl water.
Yeah, I wasn't lying when I said he shoots up out of toilet bowl water. Look at all these fucking, what are those things, scars?
I mean, that was nothing to me. I would shoot it and I'd miss. And I'd be getting high, just trying. Every time it'd take me 5 shots to get 1 shot, 1 rush.
And then a friend of mine who was a retired police officer from New York City came in, and Sonny was there the same day, and he grabs me by the arm.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey."
And Puddles.
"You know who that is?" I said, "Yeah, the guy brings his kid down, and the guy gave me a lot of money to buy uniforms and equipment for the kids." He goes, "That's the most notorious Mafia figure probably that ever lived in New York."
There was a case many, many years ago that I had. It was unsolved murder that I looked into in Brooklyn, but they said the fellow was a drug dealer and he was giving drugs to John Jr. And he was rolled up in a carpet in a lot in Brooklyn, and I'll just leave it at that.
He was never just John. He was Sonny's kid, Sonny's kid, Sonny's kid. When does he get to be him?
No, give me.
Sometimes your children don't.
I hate when people try to do that. How can I be me? It was really me. I'm always like, that is you. You're his fucking son, and you're you, fucking idiot. And this is a former FBI agent.
Necessarily following in the footsteps the way you would like, and wearing the wire is the ultimate, act of betrayal.
He wore a wire. See, he was gophering for his father and shit, and wore a wire on a night. I don't know how old he was then, 89 or something. Jesus.
But what about John Jr.?
Can't answer that.
Why even bring that up to this poor old guy, man? Why even bring that up?
The classic Godfather rules of omerta and things of that sort, I think, are sort of more fictional. But, there's always a witness waiting to turn.
Leavenworth, when I started walking up the steps And that thing was so big, and I started crying. He must have been looking out the window because he saw me crying. I don't know how he did it. But when he finally came out into the visiting room, he was looking at me and he saw my head was down and he gave me a gentle smack in the face. And he said, "Hey, son, I just want you to know if you're going to cry, cry with your head up. You don't ever have to be ashamed for crying." So he gave me another out, but I still felt like I wouldn't make him happy by crying. So I look at the evidence, and then I didn't see the evidence then.
What is he talking about?
You know, he would have never liked any other choices than I made. He would have definitely accepted them.
He would have never accepted you telling on him. You think your father wanted you to tell on him, you sick fuck?
As much as this family had been through, something was going to happen.
And through this thing they try to portray, even though I ratted on my father and wore a wire on my father, he still loved me. My father still loved me, and I didn't mean it. He actually tries to say that he didn't mean it. It was his father's fault for talking about criminal shit. It wasn't his fault that he had the wire on. It was his father's fault for talking about criminal stuff. Amazing.
That would be unimaginable. Sonny was 93. For him to go to prison would be a death sentence. At least that's what everyone thought.
He didn't care. Listen, everybody must have thought this guy was dying. You know, I didn't know who he was or whatever, but anyone that knew him back then must have thought, all right, he's dead. 89, going to jail. This guy's not going to make it.
What the FBI does is getting people to give you information, okay? That is in the form of informants, confidential sources. And we met one day at Christopher Morley Park. He didn't have to work anything off. He wasn't arrested, indicted. My approach was, John, listen, I'll help. I can help you, and you help us.
Yeah,
and
right.
I figured, what is my life?
He found John with drugs after they busted him. It's like he didn't want to become a rat. You help us, I'll help you. We're friends. What?
Life worth, even if I get killed, I'm dying anyway.
And it's better for everyone that your dad isn't targeted because you're going to be able to talk to him and find things out that you can tell me, well, what good is that if he's in jail? That's no good for you, and it's no
good for the rationalization of this shit.
Good for us. You wear the wire, all right? We're not going to target your dad. You go around, you
wear the wire. We're not going to target your father. We're just going to put all his friends in jail, but not your dad. Just amazing.
Guys on tape, all right? And I'll see what I can do about getting you into the witness security program.
There were many times Rob said, don't worry.
And you're putting all those other fathers in jail wearing a fucking wire.
About your dad. You got to go take him to meetings. We'll get information. I don't mind knowing. He said, you don't have to worry. I'm not going to put your dad in jail.
Well, I guess it resonated with him, and he decided to become, at that point, a confidential informant.
In 2000,
a rat and a stool pigeon and a Judas, and the worst of all, doing it to your own father.
In one, I got sober.
Right.
I started realizing that people's lives mattered and that you know things were hard for me, so I could relate to other
people's lives mattered. Wow.
Other people, things being hard too. And I started seeing stuff like what happened to Norby, how I harmed other human beings.
Who did he harm besides telling on people? He wasn't. This guy wasn't a mobster or nothing. He's trying to act like he was breaking people's legs and harmed human beings. You were using drugs and gophering for your dad. Like what?
How I didn't like to be hurt. I felt I owed something because of that. It was like looking forward.
So he owed, since he did drugs his whole life, he owed to put his father and try to put people in jail wearing a wire.
Dear Dr. K, I used to think I was never meant to be beautiful.
Oh my God.
You were within my budget.
So how did you meet John?
I met John at
a structured sober living facility that he entered in
Look at him.
2001. Truthfully, what can I say this? What I remember was like, look at the butt on that guy. And I said,
right.
He really looked good in this pair of jeans he was wearing.
So it was
Her teeth
Odessa
are as black as his.
house.
This was Odessa
And
house.
this is where this is the house that Denise owned or ran.
She ran it. I went to that recovery meeting. I went there to run away from Michael.
My manager.
Run away from Michael? Like, what, did they live in the same house?
Manager pulled out this humongous bag of medication and handed it to John. And I'm like, what is all that? He goes, well, he has HIV. John had left the office and he comes back with this book called Murder Machine, stuffed with newspaper clippings of articles of his father, his brother, people that they knew, you know, forward fast to,
He was bragging to her, telling her what a big bad mafioso he was.
moving in together. And then he said, hey, you know, there's this 12-step convention in Vegas next month, Thanksgiving weekend. Want to go? And I said, yeah, let's go. He says, let's get married that weekend. I said, yeah, okay.
Yeah, why not? Yes, let's marry Dracula over here. Judas, 30 pieces of silver.
What was it like wearing the wire around your father?
What was it like?
I don't mean to say this, but it wasn't very hard to do.
Of course
I
not.
had my resolve about it.
For a fucking selfish piece of shit like this?
I mean, is that the right word? Resolve. I made up my mind about it.
I made up my mind. I did not want to go to jail for heroin. I did not want to go to jail for heroin. Dad, time to go to jail.
I knew what I was doing. I knew why I was doing it and all the above. So that wasn't the hard thing. By that time, everything I thought of that life was bad.
That's what they always say.
Everything. I didn't want no part of that.
Then why don't you just walk away from that lifestyle? You know, like, give me a break. You don't have to tell on people.
Will you be as fair as you can and keep him out again as long as you can?
Yeah, right. Keep him. That makes no sense. Keep him out of jail as long as you can. How's that going to work wearing a wire?
Maybe for once in my life, I could really go somewhere and nobody know me.
Oh, my God.
And
I hate when these weirdos say this shit when no one knows you. He acts like he walks down the street and everybody knows who he is. Like, give me a break.
Who I really am when I have no outside things to lean on.
He used to say, you know, I have to go to the room to talk to people because it's just better that you don't know things.
This life is, what has it done for you? What have these people done?
He handed me a business card.
The investigation and the government felt like I was giving them information they needed. They wouldn't put my father in jail.
2 weeks later, he calls me.
Dope sick love. Yes, yes. He only just said it. Wouldn't put my father in jail. Listen to this shit. This is his FBI agent. This is the fucking slippery fuck. Wow.
He goes, I'm in. When do we start?
I
said, we start tomorrow night.
Not tomorrow night. Put the elderly in prison.
There's a lot of stuff going on in New York. So when I went there, I was really prepared and knew. I knew what I was there to do and knew what I decided to do.
It was
Dope sick love.
the night of September 17th, 2006.
And he got an 8-ball of cocaine, and that's when I first got my new blue needle, and we got high all night. Fucking wow.
He had said, I have to cash a check, so I'm going with Joel. I'm going to spend the night. I'll be back tomorrow.
What's up, Rachel
Got
in
into
Canada?
the car. I said, if you leave, don't ever come back. I remember yelling that. And he said,
oh, she look. I must say she looks pretty there. She was pretty young lady back then. She wasn't a bad looking woman there, right? Not at all.
D, I love you tomorrow. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.
She wasn't bad looking back then. Probably the drugs and shit. Years on you.
And I think I had tennis shoes in a bag. I tried to toss the bag. And that's the last time I saw him.
Tina was trying to call him, Sonny was trying to call him, and I'm trying to call him. Then
I've heard of this guy's name. Okay, is this guy an informant or no? Is this guy a rat too or no?
Smell was full. And Johnny totally disappeared.
When Sonny found out about John, there was the period of denial. Part of that probably because it was his son, but part of that too because
Picture how Sonny felt finding out his kid was wearing a wire on him. Oh man,
very inconvenient truth for him that, how does this paint me now? How does this paint Sonny?
The FBI put me to the side and they told me you could stop looking for Johnny. He's with us.
As far as I know, I am still married to John. We are still married. Maybe 48 hours later, I got a call from his dad. Where's that kid of mine?
Where's Dick?
And I said, what do you mean, where's the kid? I don't know.
What was it like testifying against him?
He looked beaten. Not because of the case, because of me.
Not because of the case.
I knew it wasn't.
Because of me. You are the case, motherfucker. You are the case.
It wasn't easy for me to testify against my dad.
Look, it wasn't easy. All about him wasn't easy for me. What about your poor fucking elderly father?
But I knew I wasn't testifying against my dad. It was his way of life.
Wow, look at that fucking out. Wow, I wasn't testifying against my dad. It was his way of life. What a cunt. What a piece of shit.
I didn't feel like I owed them an explanation. I feel like they needed to make an explanation for what they did.
Who's they? No, give me a break, man.
Make a right, Bobby. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to make a left.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Forgive me. I don't mean to ever be. Look,
this guy, the denial is real.
My dad used to be the worst in a car.
In terms of direction?
Go like this, left, right, left, and you never could please him.
Mine too. I loved my dad. My dad died 1989. I miss him every day. I could never imagine hurting my father in any way. Hurting him or putting him in jail or anywhere, doing anything fucking betrayal, any sort of betrayal for my father in any way. If I was a drug addict and I got caught with heroin and they wanted me to put my dad away, I'd be like, no, send me to jail. Right? Fuck that.
Would be smoking and driving at the same time.
Many of them do.
You're touching your socks. You got a cigarette in your hand. You're changing the radio.
They all got that fucking. They all got their excuses.
Holes that you would.
They all do.
Frankie Camp would
look at him laughing and giggling about stories and his dad and them talking in the car. This dirty motherfucker put them away. And look at those dirty teeth. Look at those fucking teeth. Oh man. William, what's up? And people can just that's what they do. They all justify it. Bring him, blame son. Yes, they do. It's sick. My father passed at 15. I'd rather die in disappointment of him. R.I.P. to your father. Sorry about your dad. R.I.P. to him.
The car.
This man right here
he'd be
put his own father, his 89-year-old father, in jail.
Because I don't know how you do it. He says, I'm so glad.
And here's the denial he's in. I didn't put him in jail. I put his lifestyle in jail.
Good. And I kept telling him, I don't live that life anymore. You see, I'm living in a Section 8 housing. I'm happy. Go to meetings. I meet with other people. I'm speaking in hospitals. I'm speaking about HIV at UCLA. I'm working for Being Alive.
Doing that.
Tina and Goldie were like unbelievable, like inseparable. She would take him to the high school and she begged me to come and I would go every once in a while and I wouldn't go. And she went to Christopher Morley Park.
That's a great point, Ron.
It was her little...
I'd like to read that. That's a great point, Ron. Yeah, his way of life. Does he mean how his entire family lived and paid for their everything he ever had? Exactly. He didn't mind when the lights were paid and there was food on the table.
Space. After she passed away, my mom said, "Hey, you remember Tina's friends?" Oh, actually, she told me about how they went to the funeral. All of that. They had raised money to donate to the dog park. And on top of it, they got a bench with a plaque with my sister's name on it. At that point, I had remembered.
He gave her drugs.
How much I didn't pay attention to her in her life. The hell with all of us. She did something really good for some people, and you know they remember her and they miss her, and it was really nice.
Sonny ended up on tape because he would inevitably walk into the room while
Watch how they blame Sonny for getting caught on tape that a wire that his son was wearing. This makes me sick.
John was wearing the wire and was conversing with other members and associates. And John was instructed, you cannot turn that wire off. So Sonny would come in, barge right into the conversation, offer specific tips, hints on, for example, how the right way to shake down the hustler in the penthouse. So inevitably he got caught up on tape, but it wasn't our intention.
Wow. It wasn't our intention. This is just wow.
That's just that he needed to be involved in those conversations.
Well, how is it his fault? Why he had the wire on in his fucking father's fucking presence? He was with these people.
How do you feel about your brother when he wore the wire? That must have been difficult.
Hey guys, it's Justine, and I'm so excited. We're here in the
Holly
studio with a brand new
get off my
remarkable
fucking
Paper Pro. A huge thank
Yeah, it was, I mean, we even talked about it today. He asked me if I knew where my brother was, my father. I said, because my brother's in trouble. He can't come around. He's hated.
You know they want to kill you, right?
Well, yeah.
Nobody wants to kill him.
If they could have, of course.
Maybe a family member might punch him in the face, but nobody's out to kill none of these stoolies. And that's why they have so many of these stoolies on YouTube and all that shit.
I think John has been voiceless. I think people
Voiceless?
see him, oh, this guy's a junkie, he's a this, he's a that. I get that.
No, it's not because of his drug use, dude. It's because he fucking put his old dad in jail.
Because I've casted those same aspersions on many of people.
So I'm sure Sonny was absolutely crushed as both his sons testified. But when you really look at what Michael did, he did very, very little against organized crime.
See how they're trying to help Michael? See how these fucking feds are trying to help Michael by saying he's not that much of a rat. He didn't really help us take out organized crime. He only told on Norby Walters. It wasn't Italian, so it don't count. I hate that shit.
I just think that he just needed money for probably more drugs. I don't know if he still was. I haven't seen him in years. He just turned into somebody that, you know, after a while, nobody really liked. So that's what I chalked that up to.
His own son, the bastard, John Jr., that bastard son has drove for 3 years.
See, drove him. He was his gopher, drove him around. These all these old wise guys, they're all dead now, but the ones that were alive, they always had a driver, a gopher. So I'm gonna go get your fucking pills, your medicine, pick up things, shit like that. That doesn't mean they're mobsters. Most likely and usually they're not gangsters. Most times that all these wise guys have someone driving them all the time, they're not gangsters or involved in the lifestyle deep like that. You know?
Of him around. Sonny was doing the sit-downs in the car, and that kid was wired. And he took the witness stand and told the jurors,
what a dirty.
As far as he knows, whatever is on the wiretap, whatever my father said is true.
Frankie Camp at the ball field said Michael didn't hurt anybody, but
Michael didn't hurt, just Norby. Just that Michael put somebody in jail. Michael went, and how can they, look what Ron said earlier. Michael, who said that? Michael testified at the Senate hearings, for Christ's sake. So how can they even say this shit? Michael didn't hurt people. You know why? Because Michael still wants that gangster image, not the Christian God-loving image.
wiring up obviously led to a number of indictments, arrests, convictions, and he ended up testifying against his own father.
Fucking scum.
We spent more than a year talking to John Jr., and like everything else with this family, it's complicated. It appeared that John Jr. was always seeking his father's approval, and he risked his life to make peace with him. And yet it was his father's life and belief system that ruined their family and the lives of everyone else who got in his way.
Yeah, blame all that stuff. Blame all that stuff. So that was who they were. They put food on their table, and John wanted to be involved in that life. They wouldn't let him in that life. So all he could do was drive his dad around, and he wore a wire. If John was, like he's trying to say, proposed to be made and was around other guys, mad gangsters and mad dudes would have been in jail. He would have lied on people.
Guy Furtado was.
What happened to Dominic Kria's father, for Christ's sakes? He never met those guys. They lied on him.
Making consensual recordings against then underboss of the Colombo crime family, Sonny Franzese. Sonny was there standing over him and saying, "Hey, buddy," he was called buddy, or pal, "can I talk to you?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And he said, about John, I know what's happening here, and if this is true, I need you to go out there and take care of him. And according to Audible, making the gun gesture.
The government says that your father wanted to kill you.
Okay.
I believe that without a doubt. Without a doubt, the father wanted to fucking kill him, but he was just an old man and shit. If the father was any younger, or if the father knew he had somebody that could go kill him, he would. He'd probably kill him if he could. Wouldn't you? Your fucking son did that to you? Come on.
Once again,
and being Sonny Franzese, who he was, of course you would have fucking killed him. I had somebody kill him.
like I told you what happened with Michael.
Look at this creepy grin, this disgusting fucking grin.
My father would rather die for whatever reason than kill his family. I know he knew that I would never believe it. That's why I had to go see him to let him know.
Imagine the balls on this motherfucker going to visit your father at 100 years old after you put him in jail for the last 10 years. Disgusting.
And I never believed that.
Selfish little whore right here. This guy is a selfish little whore who sold his soul. Judas, 30 pieces of silver.
For 1 minute. You want to know the truth? I wanted him to know that I knew that he loved me.
I wanted him to know that he loved me, and Santa Claus was coming with my special hypodermic needle.
He said, that was really the one thing I wanted to do for him. Now, whether he spit at me or told me to leave or whatever would have been okay. I don't know how far he would have carried the Sonny Franzese thing. If he felt...
he was. What do you mean carried the Sonny Franzese? He was that. He was who he was. That's who the guy was. This is amazingly fucking denial.
He had to. But I know that if I would have said that to him, it would have mattered to him.
Selfish.
What I didn't know is how much I needed to hear him say what he said.
He was the type of man, no matter what that kid could do to kick dirt in his face. So
yeah, you don't even fucking know him. This type of man. He probably wanted to kill the kid.
Speak, he just wanted that kid so badly.
What?
To flourish. He would have been disappointed.
Yeah, he wanted to flourish.
But I don't think he would have uttered any curse words or thought about killing his son or having somebody do it.
And now you're
little shit. If you get crazy, I don't know if he's dead. But yeah, he got caught with junk. He got caught with fucking babanya dope, and he fucking told on his father. Lying informants, what's up, dude? Drop your new channel in here. I don't know if he's dead or not, Dubs. I don't know.
out of witness security. Are you worried someone's going to kill you?
Well, the thought goes through my mind sometimes.
Look at his fingernails, for Christ's sakes.
We knew what we could do, what we've done. So we know it could be done to us.
See how he's making himself part of the mob? I know what we could do. That's just not the case, man. They all fucking do that. They all do that.
Signed out of protection and things. And they said, what happens if you, when they track you down, they kill you? And he said, if 4 months from now, someone tracks me down and kills me, this would be 4 months of freedom that I have not had.
Love this fit.
1 month of freedom he's not had. What are you talking about?
He was just stuck here.
Oh, freedom, he's saying, because his whole life he was stuck in the mafia. This is fucking ridiculous and fucking fantasy.
I didn't go see my mother's funeral or my sister Tina's.
Scumbag.
And I could have, but I didn't want to go into either of their funeral with marshals and make it about me. And
well, that's true. People would have spit on him there. They probably didn't even want him there.
I think a bunch of people felt that part of me leaving the program would be the opportunity for me to at least have that moment with my dad.
Wow.
That somewhere in my life, I'm going to need to remember that I went there.
I had indicated.
Imagine trying, like, I want my dad back. Why'd you fucking put him in jail at 89 years old?
Before, anytime you ever want to talk to any of your family, if you need my help, I'm willing to do that. I was
Injecting puddle
willing to go
water, you know?
as a go-between, maybe to the siblings and things of that nature, if he wanted to do that. And
fucking hated.
And then he mentioned it. He mentioned it again right before we went. He said, "I think I want to see my dad." And I said, "Let's go. When are we going? What's the dates? We're booking it. We're going."
Imagine trying to take this rat bastard to see his father. These people are insane.
So 2 weeks ago was the first time you've seen your father?
First time he ever verbally talked to me. I sent messages to him. I wrote letters to my mother friends.
Stalking him.
She said, "Look, honestly, your dad says he loves you, but he don't want to read you. I don't want to lie to you, John.
Leave the old man alone.
He don't want me to read your letter." I'm like,
What does that say? He doesn't even want to read your fucking letter. You took 10 years of his life away when he was an elderly man, you fucking crumb.
With my dad.
And now look what the man's living. He's living in a retirement home, a fucking nursing home that they said wasn't really that great. Fucking shame.
And I walked in there, but I didn't recognize him.
Look at this.
And I said, hello. And he saw me.
How unfair is that? Because that man's 100 years old. He can't get up and punch him in the face. What's up, Bethany? How's it going? He can't get up and punch him in the face and nothing, right? Like, you're 101 years old, and this rat fuck who put you away, your son, comes in there and tries to get a hug from you. What a disgusting, selfish person this man is.
He said, "Hey," and he took his hat
Didn't even
off.
know it was him, bro.
He didn't know it was me. And he said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I says, "I'm here." He says, "You know who this is?" He says, "It's coming to me. It's coming to me. Let's go in the other room." Do you know who this is?
Picture how uncomfortable that must have been for that old man.
Because it's coming to me. It's coming to me. He said, "How well did you know Anthony?" I said, "I knew Anthony really well."
It's a shame.
I said, "Do you know who this is?" He says, "You know, I gotta be honest, I don't." And then I said,
Sonny was sharp. He knew who he was, but he was so disgusted he's acting like he don't know who he is. Sonny knew it was him. I bet you he knew it was him. He's just probably so disgusted he acted like he didn't.
"Dad." And he looked at me and I said, "It's John."
Jesus.
And he went like this. "John." He goes, "What are you doing here? You got to be careful. They're going to look to kill you." And
Or maybe he said that, "Hey, John, what are you doing here?" Trying to be like, "Get the fuck out of here, leave." There's no way he wanted to see him.
And all nervous about all this stuff. He was looking at me really close when I was talking, and he goes, "So let me ask you, why you got those wrinkles?" I said, "Dad, you remember how I used to live?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "Too bad you didn't listen to me sooner." I said, no matter what anyone says, it's been 17 years since I had a tanker job. He goes, "Well, I believe you look good."
They forced this man, basically, this 100-year-old man in a wheelchair, to fucking talk to this filthy rat bastard. What a shame. This is a prime example why my dad, the great McGaff, would say, "Do not do drugs." Yes. Look at this creep.
And then he said, "You know, It wasn't nice, that letter you wrote to the judge. He would never say I testified. He wouldn't.
He was 100 years old. If he was probably 10 years younger, he would have stabbed you with a pencil.
Going to me, I think to anybody. Then he goes, why did you do that?
Because I'm a rat.
The only one who ever asked me why. Did they give you $500,000? And I said, no.
No, Dad. I got caught with a needle in my arm and a fucking pimp's prick in my ass, and I wanted to tell on you. He didn't want to go to jail for fucking drugs.
And he said, I didn't think so. I made that choice, Dad, and
I made that choice.
I never meant to hurt you.
I betrayed you, Dad, and sent you to prison, but I never meant to hurt you. What if the old man was raped in jail or killed or beat up all the time or got killed in there? Makes no sense. Fucking scumbag. This is
But I had to do that. And he's like, huh? Well, you're my son. I love you.
I don't believe that.
And then he waited about 3 or 4 seconds. He goes, but you've always been crazy.
I don't believe he did all that and said all that. But if he did, the guy's 100 years old. Maybe he lost his marbles a little.
John Jr.
Can't answer that.
Look, he's not saying all the things John just said, right? You just don't want to answer it.
I don't know what happened to him. Maybe all the drugs he took screwed his mind up. Maybe the medicine he took brought something out of him that he never knew existed. I don't know. I can't answer that. Listen, it broke my heart.
Poor guy. I'm born a rat.
Be the last guy I thought would do that.
Well, who's going to really think your own son, even if you know your son's a junkie, right? Who really is going to think their own son is going to wear a wire on them and put them in the can at 89 years old?
I love my brother. I mean, I practically raised him. My dad.
I hate this rat fuck right here.
So, I mean, I feel horrible about what happened to him. I hope to God he's straightened out his life. And that
How about
he
your
has some
poor
peace
father?
and he goes on and lives good, because I would love for him. This may get me in trouble.
All the money he made with that evangelical shit and no money for daddy.
Father might be mad at me, but I would love for him to be around his nieces and nephews again. I mean, this is a family that they would enjoy him and he would enjoy them.
Wow.
Mostly this stuff was me working through parts of my life that I had to make sense of. What I felt about not seeing my family, my mother, Tina. I really had to get to know me.
Had to get to know me. I can't listen to no more of this creep. What a sick, fucking selfish human being, man. Oh my God. I played the wrong one in the beginning. I should have played that one from the start. I played the fucking wrong one. But I still play. Whoa, unbelievable. Fucking terrible. Terrible. Before this month's over, I got a John Panisi paranoid stream. I gotta play. Maybe if I can show you a funny video real quick. Hold on a second. You get a good laugh. Have you been seeing the Kane Shades videos he's been putting up? They are fucking hilarious. Hold on, I'm gonna play this video for you. You gotta, if you guys, I don't know if you're sub to Kane Shades. If you're not, go sub to him. But he's been putting up these funny videos. Hold on a second. Let me see this video right here. This is sort of like, I found this one on YouTube right here, but Kane uploaded a couple of funny fucking videos. What's up, James? Save the cat. Listen to this. What's up, Coltrane? What's up? Good morning, top of the morning.
Oh, I'm a messy spaghetti on my frying pan. What the hell am I doing? I hear strange voices in my mom, or is it God that's telling me to call the FBI? I'm so teary I cry. Is it I'm scared because a strange man with a blue bandana tells me that I grow like Joe Montana, or I didn't take my medicine in 3 months and I lost my Yankee hat over the house shaking, telling me a rat. 1, 2, Santa Claus is coming for you. 3, 4, let me tell some more. 5, 6, cooperating with my crew. 6, 7, 8, the pizza man is late. 9, 10, drinking liquor with Tom, my best friend. Burning women's hair with that I care. Is that a strange man looking at me when I stare? Life isn't fair. Let me tell that I care. Who's that knocking on my window? John P. the paranoid man. Who's that knocking on my window? I am a paranoid man. Who's that knocking on my window? John P. the paranoid man. Who's out to get me cooperating, seeing visions of a strange gypsy, telling lies on YouTube makes me a change man. I haven't took my medicine in 3 months. I hope you understand. Had a best friend named Tom. Is he in my head or is he real? Or that's right, he out to enable my lies and I am my blue ties. What the hell is going on? Who is singing this song? I'm not a mental case. I think I'm Tony Montana on Scarface and Jake the lies onto the FBI so they could give me money and talk to myself as I eat chicken and fries. Where's that guy wearing the blue bandana? Matter of fact, he told me I was Tony Montana. Get on my window, John P. the paranoid. And I'm in on my window. I am a paranoid man. Who's that knocking on my window? John P. the paranoid man. Who's that knocking on my
Yeah, there's been a few of these rap videos popping up. And I also seen Kane Shades uploaded a few to his channel too, on his channel. Oh man. Yeah, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Come back, leave a message or a comment. I got the We Push Back YouTube channel in the description and the website. If you want to find out about any of these stool pigeons or informants, go right on there and check it out. Everyone have a great day and have a happy Thanksgiving also.